Welcome back, people. I hope you're well. Not been around, to be fair, for a few days, and I haven't been too well, but I'm a little bit better now, and hopefully the Lemsip will work. I'm with my boy Lee Gunner. What you saying, Lee?
I'm good, man. I'm not surprised you got a cold, mate. It's -5 out in England, isn't
Mate, I'm
it?
jealous of you so much, man. Honestly, I was actually thinking of you last week when I was de-icing my car, thinking, I bet Gunner ain't doing this. Do you know what I mean? I bet he's just
Yeah, I,
rocked
I
up
was walking around
out of
in
his
shorts,
balcony.
mate. 22 degrees in shorts, mate. Took a little walk there. I actually don't walk anywhere. I took a little walk down to the supermarket earlier because it was so nice.
Yeah, mate, I wouldn't be doing that. If I did, I'd be like 4 layers. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
It's mad. It's absolutely mad, mate. We're gonna talk a bit about Arsenal because I actually went to watch that shambles at the weekend with my dad, bless him. And but we're gonna get into Messi and a little bit about Southgate's new contract because I feel like I ain't spoke to you for ages, man. This World Cup has got in the way of everything,
yeah,
and it's just been mad busy for everybody. But good to see you. Good to see you doing your thing, mate, on your channel. If you haven't done so already, Lee Gunner's title, you just click on it and you can go and sub. He's at about 75,000 or something crazy now. So make sure you go and join the party. Lee, let's start with Messi, man. Because that was but let's first of all, let's say what a final. For
mm,
me, one of the best we're ever gonna see. And it makes me laugh because I don't know what your thoughts are. Well, I do know what your thoughts are, but I don't know if you agree with this statement. For me, he's the greatest of all time without a World Cup, anyway. But with a World Cup, I think it just pretty much nails it, and everybody now needs to just shut the hell up and accept that he is. But I want to get your thoughts on it, mate. 35 years old. He's carried Argentina, in my opinion. Not that they needed too much being carried, because a lot of them were good. But for me, player of the tournament, nearly got the Golden Boot, has won the World Cup now and has got to be seen as the GOAT, Lee.
mate, it's the goat anyway. Dan, I've seen his whole career, man.
Facts.
I've been blessed. I've seen the guy live as well.
Same,
Yeah, I'm
same.
like so happy I've seen this boy play football. I remember his first game, Ronaldinho set him up for the goal that was offside. And then 40 seconds later, set him up for the goal that weren't offside. And it was like passing of the baton, man. It was like Ronaldinho saying, right, you take it, it's yours now. And bro, it's just a joy to watch, isn't he? Like when I was
Yeah.
devastated, it went to extra time. I was fuming. I was like, no, they're gonna nick it now. But just to get to see him for another half an hour was just a pleasure, mate. He's such a good footballer. And like 35 years old, he scored in every single round of the knockouts and the final. Yeah, like against Holland. Do you know why I knew he would win it? Right, this is how I knew he'd win it. I tipped him to win it. I tipped
Right.
Argentina to win it at the start. I said he'd be top goal scorer and he'd get player of the tournament. Obviously, Mbappe ended up with top goal scorer, hat trick in the final, mate. Hat trick in the final.
Big up as well. What a player he is, by the way.
I don't like him, but you got to sit there and say, yeah, credit
Just
where
got
it's
to
due,
admire
mate.
it, and yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
credit where it's due. Like we knew it when he was taking 3 different penalties in that game. You just knew he was scoring all 3 of them. Yeah, none of this Harry Shame and all of that. Yeah, like his penalty still orbit in space. You knew
Oh,
he's going
done.
to score. But as for Messi, um, the way he's just been a complete arsehole through this tournament, giving it all of that to Van Gaal, telling Weghorst, yeah, que mira Bobo. Yeah, que mira Bobo. See, my Spanish is pretty good now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It is, mate. You've been over there too long, bro. You don't want to come
It's
back.
like, what are you looking at, idiot? What are you looking at, idiot? Like, go away, man. Yeah, like he wanted it, and I think that Saudi Arabia game was the best thing that could have happened to Argentina because
I agree.
if they had won that game, I don't think they would have ended up in the final. I think that he probably got in that dressing room thinking, "What's just gone on here?" Like, and I have to now drag this country. But you know what I will say? Yes, Scaloni, their manager, that is the most that is probably the most balanced Argentina side I've ever seen. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
agreed.
normally it's a bit of a mishmash of just attacking players and no defense. McAllister, what a player. Yeah, what a player, bro.
Brighton again,
I've been
mate.
raving
Brighton
about it
again.
for months.
Brighton again,
Go
mate. I
get
tell
him.
you what, just go nick all the scouts from Brighton. Yeah, just bring them all over to Arsenal, mate. I tell you, they replace all these players, don't they? It's mad, all these players they
Mate, it's
get.
crazy. I take their
McAllister,
midfield straight
Trossard,
away
Caicedo. Yeah,
all day. But do you know what, right? He took that job. Yeah, and there was a bit of a hoo-ha in Argentina, Scaloni, like, oh, well, why is this guy getting the job? He then ended up winning the Copa America last year, and then he's won the World Cup this year. Mate, that guy is going to get statues everywhere, GOAT status for the manager, yeah? But what he's done is he's built a team, like, and if you watch Messi, like, the older he's got, the less he does in terms of running. So if you watch him
agreed.
throughout that whole World Cup, he walks for 90% of the game. He don't even bother pressing. He don't track back a lot. But as soon as the ball comes to him, bang, he's alive. Yeah, and when you watch that second goal yesterday, the ball came into him pretty quick, and the way he touched it and flicked it round the corner on the halfway line, doing that when it's coming out the air, when you've got two players coming at you, and you have to make sure your player stays on side with the weight of pass being perfect. Yeah, mate, that goal for Di Maria would never have happened if he didn't do that. What a pass, mate. The pass against Holland, that's one of the best passes I've ever seen in my life. He weren't even looking, mate. Like, he's already seen the picture. Now he's looking over there for the next 5 seconds. Bang. And to get it from... honestly, mate, like, I ain't ever going to see another player like him ever again. Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. GOAT, mate.
Yeah, and it's mad really for me because it's hard to compare eras. I get that. It's hard to compare Pele to Maradona. It's hard to compare Messi to Pele or Maradona. I get it. But when you look at Maradona, who scored like 250 goals, he was outstanding, right, in his era. I get it. Messi scored 750 and he still ain't done yet. Like, I'm sorry, but like when you look at the comparisons that people talk about, people say that Maradona was the best they've ever seen. I totally will have that debate. I can't comment. I didn't see it. I'm a little bit too young. Obviously, I didn't see Pele. But all I can do is compare Ronaldo and Messi in terms of the people I've seen live. Ronaldo is incredible. Okay, incredible player. And when people say that he's rubbish, he's nothing like Messi. Yeah, come on, they're both fantastic. But I'm sorry,
I'm one of them,
Messi is
by the way,
better.
Dan.
No. But do you know what though? And I'll say this because the other day someone said that to me. And I said, what you can't do is slag one of them off. You can't say Messi's crap in comparison to Ronaldo or Ronaldo's crap in comparison. I think what you can say is that one of them is better. And you can give your opinions as to why it's better. Now, the reason I've always thought that Messi was better is not just because of all the awards he's won. Because for me, like I said to you earlier, I don't think he needed to win that World Cup to be the GOAT. It already was for me. But when I looked at both of them live, which I've seen many times, by the way, I've seen him at the Nou Camp Messi, I've seen him at the Emirates, right? I've seen Ronaldo at the Emirates many times. Messi wowed me more than Cristiano Ronaldo. And Cristiano Ronaldo, by the way, messed with us for years at the Emirates and at Highbury, to be fair.
What year was it? 2005?
Five.
When he ripped us a new one at Highbury.
Absolutely smashed us, yeah. 2007, he did the same. 2008, I think he did the same. I remember the one where Champions League.
Yeah, the 40-yard.
Do you remember that? And everybody would brought them flags at the Emirates because we thought we were going to win the game.
Sky Sports made a whole TV advert out of one of them goals. So the Rooney, Tevez, and Ronaldo breakaway. Sky Sports took the ball away. Do you remember? Yeah, it was their advert for Super Sunday or something for years.
I remember that. Yeah, they used to love doing that to Arsenal all the time. But I must say, I think for me, I've seen both of them live. I've been wowed by Ronaldo, but I've never been wowed as much as I have been with Lionel Messi. And for me, he'll be the greatest. But I want to move on to a player that people were talking about yesterday. Two things, really. I don't really listen too much to talk sport during the day, but I sometimes get the clip bits up when people see it on YouTube. If you're looking through YouTube, and I always see, and I love him, by the way, because he's an ex-Arsenal player, but he doesn't half talk trash sometimes, in my opinion. Martin Keown.
Yeah.
What the hell is this guy?
Ray Parlour.
I honestly, mate, a lot of people hate Simon Jordan, and fair play, he's Marmite, but actually, a lot of the time, he's talking facts for me, right? And he was talking about Harry Kane, and he was talking about how Simon Jordan is being out of order for calling him a bottle job, which, let's be honest, he was a bottle job. Doesn't mean that he is a bottle job. It means that in that occasion, he was a bottle job, right? I don't know how you can't. That's just facts. You can't defend the indefensible there. He bottled it. I think he'd even admit that he bottled it. But they were talking about Emi Martinez.
I see the exact clip. I watched it before I went live with Kenny and Jez.
What do you make of it all, man? What is he talking about? Martin Keown, I'm sorry. I love Martin Keown for what he's done at the club. But since he's gone on to talk sport, I just can't understand some of his...
snowflake, isn't he? That's what he is. He's just a little snowflake now.
But he weren't when he was on the pitch, Lee. Like, why is he not now? Because when he was a centre-half, you wouldn't mess with him. On talk sport, people are just having him for breakfast.
Do you know what? Maybe he was like that off the pitch back in that day. But on the pitch, he just turned into an animal. I don't know. Like, some players are like that. They just go on the pitch and they're going to war. Yeah, but maybe he was a little girl off the pitch. Like, I don't know. But I see the clip. And be honest, when Emi Martinez got his award, yeah, I was howling. I can't lie.
So was I. I thought it was hilarious.
I was sitting there going, what is he doing? Like, look at him. Yeah, it was funny, but I'm thinking, mate, you're doing that in front of royalty. Like, I was like, what are you doing, mate? Like, but there's a great picture of the king, looking at him with a little smug grin on his face. Yeah, but why are they making a scene out of it? It was like they made a scene out of Messi wearing the robe. Like, I thought that was like Jesus was holding the World
Yeah,
Cup. That's how I see it. And that robe, is a sign of respect. Yeah, from royalty, that is a sign of respect. And he's passed it down to football royalty. All these people crying about it. Bro, they've got hidden agendas on that because they didn't want the World Cup in Qatar. So now they're going to beat up everything about Qatar. Yeah, Emi Martinez, I see Keown on it. Oh, he was a disgrace. I can't believe that. And I'd hope that. And they were talking about when he had the ball for the penalties and he wouldn't give the ball back.
yeah, that's
They were
right.
talking about that. And I'm like, Keown, you were jumping all over Van Nistelrooy, mate. Yeah, and you're worrying about a goalkeeper trying to get a psychological advantage by holding onto the ball. Like, turn it in, mate. Like, what has happened to this guy? Like, for me, I don't listen to him, mate. I see the clips pop up, and I watched 3 clips. I like Simon Jordan. I like a lot of what he says.
Yeah,
I
I
like
do
the
as
way
well. I
I like
must
the
say,
way
a
he
lot of
said it
people
in
hate him,
such
but
posh words as well. Yeah, because it
yeah,
sounds even funnier when he's roasting someone with all these eloquent words and posh words. Yeah, it makes it funnier. But yeah, bro, it's a nothing. Like, Emi Martinez was lost in the moment. He's just won a World Cup. Yeah, and I think that was an FU to all the people that have doubted him. Yeah, maybe including our manager, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe a lot of our fans that slag him off online every day, saying he talks about us too much and this and that. But at the end of the day, mate, he's just won a World Cup. He can do what he wants. Yeah, he
mm.
wasn't disrespectful to the country or the culture. So who cares? Like, Martin Keown's just getting his knickers in a twist.
Like, what do you make of? Like, listen, I like Aaron Ramsdale. I really do. I really like Aaron Ramsdale actually, but
Same.
I disagreed. I disagreed with letting Martinez go and keeping Leno. And since then, I think it has been a mistake. I really do. And I look, if you was to look at goalkeeper of the tournament of the World Cup. In the last 2 seasons, one of the most consistent and probably one of the best goalkeepers, it's been Emi Martinez, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
now it looks rather foolish for us. He was sitting on the bench for most of his Arsenal career. 10 years ago, he played against Port Vale for Oxford, and now he's won the World Cup. It's absolutely mad, mate.
He won the Copa America last year.
There we go.
In
So
that Copa
fair play
America,
to him.
I think he put off the Colombian player, didn't he? He told him which way he's going to go because they'd had a bit of a to and fro in a qualification game or something. Yeah, and he put that player off. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to go right." Yeah, and the player put it right, and he went right. He went, "Told you." I just love him. He's a shithouse. I love him, bro. Yeah,
I
and
like him.
I was devastated we got rid of him, and we didn't get rid of him for Ramsdale. Let's not forget this. We got rid of him for
Yeah.
Leno.
Well, this is the best comment here. Who would have thought the goalkeeper Arsenal sold to Villa would go on to win the World Cup, and the one that they kept went on to sell £2 million for Fulham, and the one we haven't, one we have actually got hasn't played for England yet. I mean, fair play. I big up Ramsdale. I like Ramsdale, but that is a comment that you look at and go, fair play. It ain't really
Mate,
worked
it's
out. It
mad, isn't
looks
it? It's
rather
crazy. We
foolish,
kept
doesn't it?
him for Leno, mate. Like, and the thing is, the only reason that he kept Leno over him is because Leno was probably saying, yes, boss, no, boss, 3 bags, full boss. Whereas Martinez is saying, no, I want to play the game. Yeah, and let's be real, mate, that save he made in the 123rd minute of that game,
100%,
mate, that
man.
guy was
One
clean
of the
through. I
best
was
you've
like,
seen.
they've robbed my goat of the trophy, man. I was thinking they've robbed them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same here.
what a save. Bro, there's not many keepers that could have done that. Not many keepers that could have done that.
It was
And
outstanding, mate.
he
Absolutely
is a top
outstanding.
goalkeeper. I love the fact that he winds everybody up. I love the fact that he does a little dance after he saves penalties and that. Yeah, I think he's just a proper. You want him in your team, innit? If he's on the opposition team, yeah, he's going to be a problem, and you don't like him maybe like, on match days. But if he's in your team, you're like, yeah, we've got Martinez. And somebody said to me in the house I was in, they said, if it goes to penalties, who do you think will win? I said, one's got Emi Martinez, who's played for Arsenal. Yeah, elite mentality, wants to win everything, wants to play high level football, and one's got fucking Spurs goalkeeper in goal. And every single penalty that Argentina took, even if Lloris went the right way, he didn't think he's ever saving them. Look at the penalties that Argentina took. He should have saved 2 of them. He should have saved Dybala's one with his feet. Yeah, and he should have saved the Paredes one. Should have saved both of them. Useless goalkeeper. And then when Montiel stood up, he looked super nervous to take that winning penalty. Super nervous. But I never expected Lloris to save it. And that's the difference. When Emi Martinez is in goal and it goes to a penalty, there's a good chance he's saving a penalty. Yeah, whereas Lloris or any other goalkeeper, there's not many goalkeepers out there you think, like, get him on pens. If we want him in goal if it's pens. There's not many goalkeepers out. He's a brilliant penalty saver, sorry. Yeah, I love
agree,
him.
mate.
Couldn't have sold him, mate. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Chelsea, could do a lot worse than getting him, or Man United, because Man United are in the
Mate,
market for a goalkeeper. Yeah, and
do you know what's
Chelsea's
mad?
goalkeeper Mendy, he's out of favour. They got Kepa there. Wouldn't surprise me if he ended up at Chelsea or United in the next few years.
Do you know what's mad? It's yesterday. My mate Lawless, who everyone knows from this channel, he texted me and he said, "Why the hell did Arsenal get rid of him? He'll be at Chelsea next summer." And then I was just going to say to you, do you think he'll get a move now? And there you've said it, and that is true for me. I don't think he'll be at Villa much longer, and I don't think there's many goalkeepers in the Premier League outside of the tops, the Alissons and Edisons that you'd look at outside of Emi Martinez. I think he's been very, very good, very consistent. And I think he's a modern day goalkeeper who's about 29 years old. So I think you're right, Lee. Let's quickly touch on Gareth Southgate. I'm not a huge fan, bruv. So let's talk about what you think of it. For me, in 24 games, there was a stat to say that in the top 8 teams that we faced out of 24, top 10, sorry. He's
Top
only
10.
won 4 games. Now, it's fair enough beating Tunisia and Panama and Ecuador and Senegal
Albania,
and Colombia
San
and
Marino.
Albania and Iran and USA and San Marino and Wales. But when you come up against France, Croatia, Belgium or Italy, you need to actually do a little bit more than just get a goal and sit back. And against France, it proved yet again to me that we haven't got the right guy. And the reason that I believe that, Lee, is not just because of previous games, because I forget about all them, because this is a different era, different team, different side. I actually look at him now and I think the amount of havoc that Bukayo Saka was causing in that game, for you to take him off, you must need your head testing. You must need your head testing. Now, if you're going to bring him off, you've got it wrong, but fair play. What are you going to do instead? He brings on Raheem Sterling, who's just had his house robbed, who's only just got off the plane again to get back with a group. And he's just come on and done absolutely nothing. And everyone's sitting there going, why is that then? He then brings on his best mate, Mason Mount.
Off the plane. That reminded me of Chris Hudson. He's just got off the plane from Ecuador when he was talking about
I love that. Love Chris.
The way you said it was Chris. The same. He's just got off the plane after having his house robbed.
Santi Cazorla, wasn't it? Yeah. But it's true. And he brings him on.
It is true,
and he brings on Mason Mount again. Now, I know he won the penalty, but actually it wasn't by skill. He just got shoved. I don't understand his obsession with Mason Mount. He's out of form. He's been poor form. So is Raheem Sterling. James Maddison doesn't even get a kick, right? Criminal. Absolute criminal for me. Outside of Kevin De Bruyne, or along with Kevin De Bruyne, been one of the best attacking midfielders this Premier League season. Facts. Doesn't get a kick of the ball. I don't really understand how you can go 1-0 up against Croatia and then bottle it. 1-0 up against Italy and bottle it. Get back into the game, against France, and then, for me, make a crazy decision. And then if you don't think that the Mount and the Sterling and the Saka situation is bad enough, Jack Grealish is standing there with 90 seconds left to go, waiting to come on. Where's he been for the last 20 minutes, mate? Hang on a minute. Well, if I was Jack Grealish, and I know he'd never do this, I'd have gone, nah, you're all right, mate. I'll just go back home with the others. We're out, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's absolute madness. So it's no shock to me, Lee, that we didn't get there. It's also no shock to me that he's staying because everybody seems to like him. They've got so many people. I suppose it's a little bit similar to when we had Mikel Arteta and in the early days, and everyone was going, not quite sure he's ready. Oh, that's a disgrace. Absolutely can't believe you're not behind him. I feel like there's similar vibes with Gareth Southgate, yet he hasn't proved anything at all. So we're stuck with him with possibly the best England side I've seen in a long time. In Euro 2024, in World Cup 2026, he basically has to win a trophy, or I believe he's got to go because he's not going to go now. Right? We should have sacked him anyway. He's not going to. He's now got another one. If he don't win the thing, not get to the final or the semis, we've done that. If he doesn't win it, he's got to go. What's your thoughts, bro?
He should go anyway. 3 strikes, you're out. Simple as that, Dan. 3 strikes, you're out. Yeah, this guy, right? And we can talk about Harry Kane bottling a penalty. I think he's a full bottle job. I rate Harry Kane as one of the best footballers in the Premier League, in the world. Yeah, talented footballer, elite goal scorer. Yeah, super good vision, brain, passing, everything. He's got it all. But this is where you have to have a great manager because he was bricking it on the first penalty. Yeah, he was bricking it. And then he goes and takes a second penalty. And then this is why I will rate Mbappe yesterday for what he did. He took 3 penalties and he went the same side all 3 times. Yeah, you've got to have some big balls to go 3 times the same way, mate, against a goalkeeper who's one of the best on the planet. Right? Who's a big lad as well. This guy bottled it against his own teammate. And that is where Harry Kane should never have taken the penalty in the first place, the second pen. And the manager, I think the manager's a compulsive liar. Yeah, if we go back to when he first got the job, he said that he'll pick players based on merit. Okay, well, that was Gallagher there then. That was Calvin Phillips there. He's played 1 game all season. Yeah, how's Sterling there? He's been trash. Yeah, how's Luke Shaw and Maguire been there? Yes, they played all right for England. They played very well in some games, but they shouldn't have been on the plane if they're being picked on merit. They don't even get games for United half the time. Yeah, Sterling's been crap. Yeah, and then you've got Jack Grealish coming on in the 93rd minute of a game. You're like, I would have just told him piss off. Real talk. I would say jog on, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
that's what I
that's
said.
what Ben White did. I think that's why Ben White went home. Yeah, I think genuinely people are saying
A lot of
personal
people are
reasons
saying
for
it.
that.
Yeah.
I personally think he just said we know we don't like football, right? That's a fact. He said it openly when he signed for us. Don't like football. Don't watch it. And he got to sit on the bench watching it when he could have been in Mykonos with his bird or with his mates on that, having a couple of weeks off, which Arsenal gave everyone. Yeah. So now if you're bringing me here, I at least want to play. Yeah, and you're putting Trent Alexander-Arnold in over me. Like that's probably how he's seen it. And I reckon he's had a bust up. Anyway, coming back to the manager, the first tournament, Harry Kane again, funny enough, bottled it. He should have squared it to Sterling. Second tournament, we get to the final, and Southgate completely nosed up the penalties by putting our youngest players last. If you're going to put Saka, the youngest player in our squad, on a penalty, you put him second. You put Harry Kane first because he's our best penalty taker. Yeah, and then you put Saka second. So if he misses, you've still got time to recover. Yeah. Instead, he fucked up. Like, bro, this guy is a joke. 24 games against the top 10 nations on the planet, of which we're one of them. Right? So 24 games against the other 9. And he's won 4. He's won 4. He should be sacked. Yeah, and then you've got the media going, oh, yeah, well, he's such a nice guy. I don't care. Nice guys don't win, mate. I want a complete arsehole. Go and get me Jose. Yeah, go and get me Simeone. Go and get me anyone. Yeah, bro,
Just
I'm
a
not
winner.
even joking.
Just a winner.
At this point, I would fucking take Big Sam. Yeah,
Wow.
because we'd be harder to beat. We wouldn't have conceded that second goal the other night with Giroud. That would never have been a goal under Big Sam. Even Sean Dyche. Yeah, and I know I'm going a bit extreme here, and people go, oh, really? Well, would it be any worse? Like, real talk, would it be any worse? Yeah, Sean Dyche.
Well, let me ask you this.
Defend.
Let me ask you this. I saw something on, I don't know if it was on Sky or TalkSport or whatever the other day, saying, I'd like the English manager to be English, okay? And the 3 English managers they spoke about were Steve Cooper, Eddie Howe and Graham Potter. Now, I said to my dad, funny enough,
he's been on a fucking weekender in Ibiza.
Yeah,
he looks like
does,
he's feeling off his nut, mate. I can't lie. I don't want him any.
Yeah, no, he does.
On a table with Forest. Is this where we're at?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Southgate got the job after being relegated as manager of Middlesbrough. Go and get a proper manager, mate. Go and get a proper manager, bro.
So this is my question, and I hear that, and this is my question. Let's just take those 3, whether you think they're all great, they're all crap, or they're all average, right? Let's just take those 3. If Gareth Southgate gets sacked, and one of those 3, Forest, Brighton, or Newcastle managers go to the England job, would Forest, Brighton, or Newcastle hire Gareth Southgate?
No.
I would say no. So what we're doing, and you've just laughed at Steve Cooper. I know you like Graham Potter because I do, and I know you like Eddie Howe. But actually, when you look at it, those 3 managers could all leave Newcastle, Brighton, or Forest because it's the England job. But none of those 3 teams would even look at Gareth Southgate. If we sacked Mikel Arteta for coming 5th and going no silverware this season, would we look at Gareth Southgate? Well, I hope we wouldn't. I don't know with Arsenal. But the answer is probably no, we wouldn't, because he's not good enough. So why is he now all of a sudden being allowed to take the England side forward when, let's be honest, he's had 3 strikes, like you've said, and he's been out, and he's not been out, but he should be out. And all of a sudden, we think that we're going to get to a next tournament with the same group of players, by the way. It's only really a couple, maybe Trippier or Walker, that might not be there. And now go and win it. I just can't see that, Lee. So for me, I don't care if it's Tuchel, whoever it is. I don't care. It doesn't have to be English for me. I prefer it to be English. Eddie Howe or Potter would be great. But I don't really care. If someone's going to win us something, I don't really care. If you said to me England are going to win the World Cup.
Mainstream media. Oh, sorry. Go on, mate. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, if you gave me now, England are going to win the World Cup with Thomas Tuchel, or you're going to nearly win it with Eddie Howe, I'm going to go and take Thomas Tuchel and win the World Cup. I don't care that they ain't English. So that's my kind of thought on it. Really is there's a lot of love for Gareth Southgate, and I appreciate. I'll give him a positive. He handles the media exceptionally well, right? But that doesn't win you anything, Lee. I'm more than happy for him to sit there and talk to the media and be nice, and you think, yeah, fair play. He's answered that well. Obviously, the players like him. That's all good. But
he's just very well spoken. That's all it is, and he's a media lovey. Sam Wallace, who writes for the Daily Times, I think it was, put a tweet out the other day that someone sent me saying, "Yeah, the England manager has to be English. What's the point in What's the point in ploughing money into a foreign manager for the national team? It's a form of cheating. Is this guy thick? Yeah, the England women's team won the Euros with a Dutch manager. So did we
Facts.
cheat then? Like, come on.
Must have cheated
Like,
then.
come on.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Did he not think before he wrote that? Like, it's mad. Yeah, and the thing with
It
me,
is
Dan,
mad.
yeah, is every single England manager we've had, and this is where it's all jobs for the boys and it's all like a get along gang and all of that crap, right? At the England setup, they never pick players based on merit. They pick their fancy names and they pick their favours. Why did Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, and Frank Lampard never get a game together for England? Oh, you can't play Lampard and Gerrard. Why? Find a system that can. Yeah, Scholes had to be in there. Gerrard and Lampard had to be in there. They were our best three midfielders.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then I remember when Sven took Theo Walcott to a World Cup when he was 16 or 17. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, because
I
he's
know
the
what,
up
that
and
was
coming
mad,
hit.
wasn't it?
Yeah, mate. It's always been managers picking their favourites. Like Harry Maguire. To be fair to him, I thought he was our best player.
He was great,
again,
wasn't he?
in
Great.
a couple of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, against France, I thought he was quality. Right, but he shouldn't be there, Dan.
No, agreed.
He shouldn't be there. Tomori should be there. Tomori's a champion. He won the league at AC Milan. Why is he not even in the squad?
Yeah, I agree,
Like
mate.
Luke Shaw,
I agree with you.
we're not really blessed with left backs, to be fair. Chilwell and Luke Shaw is a much of a muchness. They're both trash. Yeah, they're not very good. Yeah, so who else we got coming through? We ain't. So one of them's going to play, isn't they? Yeah, we can't name a better left back.
Tariq Mitchell and Dan Burn are the other two options. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, Dan Burn's a basketball player, but he's half decent at left back. Like he's about 9 foot tall, isn't he? Right,
he is, isn't he?
But Dan, I look at it and I just think you've taken Maddison, who scores goals. He didn't get a minute. You took Calvin Phillips, who's not played for Man City. I think he's played one game. Why is he there? You've taken Conor Gallagher. Why? When you set a team up, right, and you're going into a tournament, surely you need to have free kick takers in the team. When we got a free kick against France in the first half, Luke Shaw took it. Fair play, it was half decent, it was on target. But if that's Trippier or Trent, I'm more confident we're going to score it. Right?
Or Maddison.
Also, yeah, we could have took who's the lad from Southampton? What's his name?
Carl Walker-Peters or
the midfielder.
James Ward-Prowse.
Ward-Prowse, that's it. Why didn't he get in the squad? Because when you get a free kick, you know he's elite. When we get a corner, you know he's going to put it on the spot. Like, I don't get it. Then you've got to also factor in penalty takers, right? He didn't factor in penalty takers, right? In that game against France, I did a stream the day before that with Goonie, or on that day actually with Goonie. Yeah, and I said, in this game, don't play Foden. He was trash against Senegal. He kept giving the ball away. And in this game, the right back, Koundé, bombs forward and is always out of position, right? Play Rashford. Put Rashford on that side. And the masterclass that Scaloni done for Argentina, Di Maria, we all know, plays right forward. What did he do in the final? Put him on him. He put him left forward and he absolutely ripped him a new one. Yeah. If we had put Rashford on there, pace would have killed that guy. Yeah. And we might have won the game. And these are big moments of big games. And Gareth Southgate, bro, he got relegated as manager of Middlesbrough with 24% win accuracy and he got the fucking England job. Yeah. What is going on here? Right. We've had Sven-Goran Eriksson, yeah, who's, again, just picking his favourites. And that was a golden era. We're in a golden era. Yeah, the media love to hype crap up. Yeah, this ain't a golden era. They're a bunch of bottle jobs. Go through that squad. The only players that have actually ever won anything half decent are the City and Liverpool players. And Mason Mount won a Champions League. Where's the rest of the trophies, bro? A couple of FA Cups here and there. Henderson shouldn't have been there, but I thought he was superb against France. I thought he was quality. Absolutely quality performance. Yeah, and all the way through the game, he's talking. Why? Because he's been in big moments of big football matches and come up trumps winning trophies, Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, FA Cup, League Cup. Yeah, and you know, you have to go with that mentality sometimes. Look at Mbappe yesterday. Right, that guy put the country on his back without Benzema in the squad because he was injured. No Pogba, no Kante. Giroud's off the pitch. Dembele's off the pitch, and he got the penalty. They got the penalty. He scored, and he said, "Right, this is my time to shine." Yeah, where's the player in our squad that can do that? He didn't pick him. Where's Maddison? Maddison will step up and take a penalty. Yeah, Rashford would have stepped up and took a penalty. We see him take one against PSG after waiting 10 minutes to take the penalty at PSG's ground to win him a Champions League game. Like, it makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense. Harry Kane, as much as I rate him, as soon as he missed that penalty, he should have been subbed immediately. He was a passenger for the rest of the game. For that last 10 minutes or 7 minutes, or whatever it was, including stoppage time, as soon as he missed, he looked like he was about to cry. Yeah, he was biting his T-shirt. Yeah, as soon as he missed, sub him. Get Callum Wilson on the pitch. Yeah, we should have took a target man as well. We could have took either Ivan Toney, who we put in the squad for the last warm-up game, never played him, and then never picked him for the World Cup squad. Why'd you pick him then? Why did you pick him for the warm-up game and never play him? Yeah, he could have took Tammy Abraham, aerial threat as well, although he's not great in the air. He's a problem because he's so tall and lanky.
I
Yeah,
like
want
him.
to bounce
Yeah.
off him and it come down and then bosh, you score the goal. But bro, this manager, he picks players that are nice guys. Yeah, I see Tony Adams say something the other day, and he said, "When are England going to be stop being the plucky losers?" Yeah, absolutely spot on, mate. We have got a talent of footballers in this country right now with Saka, Foden, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham. We got some top players. Tamori. You know, we've got Aaron Ramsdale. I've been that little dinosaur arms off left, right, and centre. Not good enough. Not good enough. Yeah, he'll make a good couple of saves here
I
and
thought
there,
he
like
should
he
have
did
done
against
better. I
Senegal.
thought he should have done better for Chalmini as well, personally. I thought he should have done
Bro,
better for that.
that's what I'm saying. If that's Ramsdale, he probably saves it. If that's Nick Pope, he definitely
Agreed.
saves it. Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I'm
agreed.
saying? It's mad. But
Yeah.
when you're picking
I
these
think, look,
players, that
Bellingham and Saka, 100%. They can hold their heads up high. I thought Bellingham and Saka, you can't say a bad word about him. He got a lot wrong, Southgate, and we're stuck with him, Lee. But the only good thing and the only hope I've got is that this squad is getting better and better now. And then, like in 2010 under Capello, I was thinking Smalling and Jones. Like, is that really what we're going with at the back after Terry and Ferdinand and all this? Now it's looking seriously good coming through England, mate. I want to move on and talk about Arsenal because I feel like it's good that World Cup's done. I feel like we need to talk on what we expect in the coming weeks because this ain't going to be a very fun January and February as far as I'm concerned, mate. It's got a very, very hard run of fixtures with a team that looks pretty depleted in parts of the squad. Now, I understand that the World Cup has caused the Dubai tournament, and of course, you get Juventus at the weekend to look a little bit lackluster in parts and a B team. But that Juventus team was a B and a C team, and it was awful. I mean, I was there watching it live with my dad. Bless him, we had a good time as father and son always do. But it was a hard watching parts of it, mate. We're still seeing Rob Holding, who clearly isn't good enough. I mean, it's just he's even shocked that he's still at the club. Still, you know, it's really, really embarrassing.
just happy to
And
be
we've
there,
got
isn't he?
he is, and I don't want people like that. I don't want people that are just happy to be there. Do you know what I mean? I'd be happy playing with Arsenal, but I wouldn't believe I was good enough. Do you know what I mean? We've had too many players like that, Lee, and I have to talk about the player that frustrated me the most. And a lot of Arsenal fans were sticking up for him and saying that it's not his fault. He had the ball in the back of the net twice. He played well. He had a lot of strength. You know, it's not his fault. I saw the guy miss pretty much an open goal by hitting the post. I just don't think that Eddie Nketiah is going to be the answer moving forward. And if we don't buy a striker, Lee, and Arteta actually believes that Eddie's the guy, then yet again, he's going to have to rely on a lot of luck with Eddie because last year he got out of jail. And you'd like to think that a manager would go, let's not do that again. Crikey. I know he scored a few goals, but actually we need to go and get a centre forward in now. If we don't do that, Lee, which I have concerns that we might not, do you think that this January and February could be a little bit horrible, so to speak?
Yeah, that Juve game showed exactly why we need to spend about 100 mil in Jan. Yeah,
Yeah,
real
I
talk.
agree.
We need 100 mil. Right. I said this the other day, and I got loads of people on my case. Like I was doing a watch along for the game. Yeah, and to be fair, like my community's all right because we just kick all the dickheads out. Right. But a few get in every now and again. Oh, you're too harsh on Eddie. Why am I too harsh on Eddie, mate? I've seen Ian Wright play for Arsenal. I've seen Thierry Henry play for Arsenal. I've seen Van Persie play for Arsenal. I've seen Davor Schuker play for Arsenal. I've seen some of the top players play for Arsenal in that position. Bergkamp, although he played a little bit deeper. I've seen some of the greats. And I'm supposed to rate him. Like, do me a favour. This guy, I've seen, even Francis Jeffers would have been better than him. Like, and Francis Jeffers was shocking at Arsenal. He's better than Eddie Nketiah. And bro, I've seen people coming out in defense. Oh, we've got to back him. I don't have to do nothing. Yeah, I ain't backing mediocrity, and he's mediocre. Phone up Crystal Palace, say we want Wilfried Zaha, who's got 6 months left on the contract. You can have Eddie as part X. Job done. Yeah, and if they say no, say cool. Wilfried, we'll come and get you in the summer for free then, mate. Yeah, now go somewhere else. Like, go somewhere else and go and get another striker somewhere else. Ivan Toney, Mitrovic. We need somebody up front that can hold the ball up, that's something a bit different, that can play with their back to goal. A little bit like Giroud, really. Ironically.
I agree.
We need somebody like that. Zaha, I think Zaha can do that. The worry with Zaha is he consistent enough? And at Palace, he ain't. But Palace are trash, let's be real. Like, they're not great. Yeah, if he played for Arsenal, I think he'd level up a little bit. And he's cheap. But I don't expect us to go and do anything, Dan. Like, there's talk of this Mudryk guy. The amount of people with their pants around their ankles over this kid they've never watched play football is mad. Nobody watches Shakhtar Donetsk, mate. No one. Yeah, and if you do, you're lying. You're
I had a question
lying.
on this. Is David Ornstein right about Mudryk, or is this another Vlahovic moment?
David Ornstein said Nuri Sahin was signing for Arsenal. He never signed. Yeah, David Ornstein was actually at London Colney when the England camp were training at Arsenal when Arsene Wenger was refereeing a game at the Vatican. Yeah, do you remember that? And he said that was on deadline day, and he said, no, Arsenal are closed for business. They're not doing any more business. 40 minutes later, we signed Danny Welbeck. He's a muppet, that guy, mate. Yeah,
You know what he also did, which was the best ever for me? Nicola Pepe will categorically not be an Arsenal player. 24 hours later, Arsenal signed Nicolas Pepe. And it was since then, what was that, 4 years ago now? I just was done with him. I was like, Fabrizio Romano will no one for me. Literally, he's the only one that gets everything right. All the others are just clowns.
It was actually Fabrizio who put David Ornstein in the mud. And I remember that because I just landed at Malaga Airport, right? And I turned my phone on and I see Fabrizio. I didn't know Fabrizio at the time. I see this tweet from Fabrizio Romano. I was like, I was going to sign in Nicola Pepe. Underneath it was a screenshot of David Ornstein saying that we weren't signing him. Yeah. So then obviously we signed him. I was like, bro, the guy gets drip fed information. And the problem with these journalists, Charles Watts is another one. Yeah. And I know he's not my biggest fan, and I don't really care, if I'm honest. I can't stand the guy. He was crying about the robe yesterday with Messi. Get in the bin, mate. Like, get in the bin. And I think that, who's the other one? What's the other guy's name? James Benge. All of these people that are on the payroll at Arsenal, indirectly or directly, because they're all indirectly on the payroll. Yeah, they'll keep their mouth shut. They'll put out all the spin, all the PR, all the good stuff. Yeah, they'll cover up all the crap. Yeah, and they're all vying to get the Josh Kroenke interview or the Mikel Arteta end of season interview. That's all they're vying for. Who's the other one? She writes for The Athletic. Amy Lawrence. That's another one. Oh, I was at Anfield in '89. Nobody cares, mate. Like, honestly, nobody cares. Yeah, every year when it comes around for the anniversary, she's doing a little monologue somewhere. Nobody cares. It's boring. Yeah, but all of these journalists, they're not journalists, Dan. Yeah, they're club puppets. Because if David Ornstein came out and said what he thinks, he'd probably be banned from the club. Yeah, if Charles Watts, we see Charles Watts when Arteta didn't want to answer the question, he said all your colleagues are laughing on the Zoom call. You got another question, Charles? And he was like, no, answer the question, Mikel. That's what I would have said, but now you ain't coming back again. The only woman who stuck it on, or only journalist that I consider a journalist, is the one from Sky Sports that stuck it on Mikel Arteta on day one of the season. Last season when we lost to Brentford. Or season before, sorry. When we lost to Brentford. She ain't been back since. When she was sticking it on him. You said on the last day of last season, Mikel, this, and this. So what's different this time round then, after you've had the transfer windows and the summer window? And he was like, she's never been back again. Gal Davis, I think her name is. I don't think she's ever been in a press conference again. Yeah, and this is the problem with them down there. They churn out all this media crap, yeah, for clicks and likes and for everybody online to get hyped. Dan, people sit there and say the French league is a farmers' league. Well, what the bloody hell is the Shakhtar Donetsk, like, Ukrainian league then? Like, I'm sorry, people are hyping up this kid. I've seen him play twice, and I watched Celtic against Shakhtar with a Celtic fan, and I see him play twice. He looked half decent, cool. Mate, it's Celtic number one. It's not the Celtic of old, yeah, ripping up Barcelona and Real Madrid or whatever. Yeah, number two, it's Ukraine, mate. Yeah, he may or may not be good, Dan. I genuinely don't care if we sign him or not. If we sign him, cool, let's see what he can do. But the way our fans are banging on about it is only down to people like Ornstein, like Watts, like Benj, Amy Lawrence, and all these other people that are making, oh, yes, he's the number one target. I see David Ornstein say the other day about Mudryk that, oh, yes, internally they will take less money, but externally they're putting out it's 100 mil. Well, you've just let the secret out the bag, mate. Yeah? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what a load of garbage. And people swallow this, Dan. Yeah, and that's why I do my transfer shows completely different to any other transfer show. I sit there and rip these articles apart and then give my opinion on it and whether I think it'll happen, whether I want it to happen, or whether I like the player or not. Yeah, what he's good at, what he ain't good at. Yeah, are we signing Mudryk? Probably not. Probably not. And I will wet my knickers, Stan, because I do wear knickers on a Sunday anyway. Right? I will wet my knickers if he ends up going to another Premier League team. Yeah, because I want to see
Newcastle are interested, apparently. Newcastle are interested. This is a good comment here. Fred was from Shakhtar Donetsk and he was £50 million, and yet he's crap. I think. Listen, I've seen a lot. I've seen YouTube. I've seen Mudryk. He looks like a skillful player. I won't sit there
Mm.
and say that I think he's going to be a world-class talent at Arsenal, but also I won't sit there and think he'll be a flop. But what I do look at is if we want a wide forward, that's fine, as long as we get a forward as well. Now, because for me, mate, I don't see one position that Arsenal need in January. I don't. I see about 4, Lee. So if we don't
Mm.
go and get at least 2 or 3 players, I really don't see a title challenge, Lee. And I just wanted to get your opinions on what you'd like to see in January, mate.
Go and sign Caicedo, because we know Thomas Partey's going to get injured again. He always does. Go and sign a striker that's different, like a target guy. Somebody that, when we played against Juventus the other day, Juventus C team, they had us on the ropes. They just defend, and they were pushing us out to the wing to cross the ball. Why? And they showed every single team going forward how to play against us, by the way, because we got dwarfs up front and on the wings. Every single Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Eddie Nketiah, they're not exactly imposing figures, are they? So when you've got big centre backs, just put the gunners out on the wing, get them down the wing and get them to cross the ball high. We'll just clean up the headers. Bosh. That's how you play against Arsenal. Park the bus and that's it. And what I want to see happen, Dan, is a striker come in. Yeah, who that striker is, I'd probably go with Ivan Toney. People go, oh yeah, but he's got this betting scandal. I don't care. Yeah, Basuma had a scandal. Well, that got dropped real quick as soon as he signed for Tottenham, didn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, so go and sign a striker. If we're not going to sign a striker, then I want to see Wilfried Zaha come in. Yeah, because Wilfried Zaha can play as a striker. And I've seen so many people, Dan, saying, but if we sign a striker, then, you know, Jesus is going to get the ump. And, you know, shut up, mate.
I hate
Do you
that.
think
I hate that.
Do you think Alvarez is crying that he's second fiddle to Erling Haaland? He plays for
But
Man City. They're going to win stuff.
on that as well, right? This is where I agree. You know, you always say, like, oh, the players, some of these fans haven't seen the Invincibles, blah, blah. This is where I agree with you here. Because in the Invincible season, was Ray Parlour crying because Freddie got in front of him? Or did he just fight for his place? Was Gilberto Silva and Edu not fighting for their place next to Vieira? Was Cardew and Wilton not on the bench? Were they crying, going, oh, Henri and Bergkamp are ahead of me? They just went and got on with their game. And we had a squad. This is what we're trying to build, isn't it? Or are we done? Have we got our 12 players and we're going to try and win everything now to these fans? I just don't get it. We've got to have competition for places, because if one of them gets a knock, i.e. Jesus, which I said was going to happen, by the way, I thought it'd be Saliba.
We were negative
enough,
for saying that,
Saka.
Dan. I was super negative.
Oh, mate, I got told right off by the fan base. You are so negative for saying Partey, Saliba, or Saka will get injured. I said it'd be Jesus, Partey, or Saliba. I think I said. I might have said Saka. Oh, funny enough, it was Jesus. And now I hear fans saying, well, we've got Eddie now. Martinelli can play through the middle. When has this manager ever played Martinelli through the middle? He's never done it.
Mate,
ever.
Don't forget, Dan. Don't forget Chris Wheatley, who's no longer at Arsenal. He's now at Forest because he put out fake news. Yeah, about Thomas Partey. That's why he got sacked on the first day of his new job, by the way. He got sacked. But don't forget, Chris Wheatley and all the other media lovies were putting out a little clip, a little video clip of super high up in like an office or something at Colney, looking down at the training pitch, watching Martinelli score a banger. And he hadn't played for Arsenal for about 6 months. He was sat on the bench constantly for 6 months back then, yeah? And Chris Wheatley tweeted that picture out and said, yes, Mikel Arteta is converting Martinelli into a striker. That was 2.5 years ago. How many times he played up front since?
I agree with you.
So stop listening to these idiots. They know nothing. They are manipulating you via the football club, right? And at the end of the day, we need a striker. If we're not going to go and get an elite level striker, yeah, or somebody that's like Jesus level or around that level, yeah, go and buy Zaha. Because then if you don't want to upset the person's feelings, Zaha will play up front and he will do it to a decent standard. When Jesus comes back in, you now have somebody who can play left wing and right wing and swap with Martinelli and Saka. That's a great signing. It's 25 mil.
Yeah.
Around that. He's got 6 months left. He knows the Premier League. Go and sign him. Fuck Mudryk. 80 mil. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Go and buy him for 25. Yeah, because we'll get a lot more out of him and he's ready now. Yeah, then go and buy Caicedo. You can go and get him for 50 mil. Like, there's 2 players straight away that you've now got adequate backup for a striker who's now injured, because now you've got a striker who can also play wing. You can put Martinelli up front if you want and play Zaha on the left. You don't have to play Eddie then. Yeah, you could drop Zaha for a game and play Eddie up front and put Martinelli on the wing. Yeah, but you've then got a backup for your DM as well, who we know will be injured at some point. So you've got backup there. I think we also need a centre-back. Yeah, because I think if Gabriel Magalhaes gets injured, what have we got? I don't want Rob Holding on the pitch. Yeah, what, we got Tommy Asu. Sorry, mate, we ain't seen him properly for about a year.
Yeah, I don't know where he's gone. The other player I don't know what's happened to is Smith Rowe, Zinchenko. Where are these players? Like, I
Where
haven't
is
even been to a
Zinchenko,
World
by the
Cup.
way? Where is he? Where is Zinchenko?
Oh, I don't know, but
When is he
apparently
in
we've
the
got to get
squad?
rid of. Apparently we've got to get rid of Tierney because he's always injured.
Mad, isn't
It's
it?
mad.
Dan, if you actually go through on transfer market, if you type in Zinchenko injury record transfer market, and go and have a look how many times he's been injured since he went to City. Yeah, did we not check this?
Well, we obviously haven't checked it, have we? Because he's always injured. Apparently, he's got 11 injuries or something at City. I mean, it's
13,
absolute
11
mad.
or 13, something like that. Yeah.
Normally
Yeah,
do
but
this, Lee,
Jesus is
but
another one. Jesus was constantly injured, but nobody remembers this because he was never
No.
first team anyway.
I don't normally do this, but I am going to do it because this is what I get, and I've had this before on Twitter, which is toxic as anything. Lee needs to learn to back Eddie, crying for a useless signing when we have a backup striker already. This is what I don't get. It's not even about crying about Eddie. It's not even about that. Eddie Nketiah is going to stay at Arsenal. It's fine by me. I've got nothing wrong with the lad. I don't actually hate him personally. I love his intensity. I love his energy. I've got no doubt that he's given 100%, but he is just not good enough for what we need. He's fine to stay as backup or play League Cup games against Sunderland or play in the Europa League against Bodo and Glimt. But if I wanted him against Manchester United and Tottenham and Newcastle in February, I don't have the faith that he's going to score. I'm always willing for him to prove me wrong. But I don't get these comments. I'm sorry. We're not sitting there slagging him off.
Big up to Eagle MMA, mate. You can back him. I ain't backing him. He's shit. Yeah, no disrespect, mate. Yeah, I listed the GOATs, the players that I've seen that are miles better than this guy that have played for my club. Bergkamp, Henry, Ian Wright, Kevin Campbell's better than him. Miles clear of him. Kevin Campbell won a title with Arsenal. Let's not forget that, mate. Yeah, wearing the kit that you got behind you. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm supposed to back this guy. This is what I find funny, Dan, yeah? When people sit there and they say, yeah, you've got an agenda. Why don't you rate Odegaard? Well, mate, I've seen Bergkamp. Sorry, you can't chat to me. Yeah, and if you want to take Bergkamp out of the equation, well, I see Paul Merson as well. Yeah, you can't chat to me. Yeah, oh, you got to back Eddie. No, I don't. If you're backing Eddie, why do you care if I ain't? Like, real talk. If you're backing him, why do you care if I ain't? Oh, but everyone's
got a hat trick against Chelsea.
Yeah, he obviously watched the Pratt in the Hats video. I said, we have to back him. We don't have to do nothing, especially when it's coming from him anyway.
Yeah, well, that's another story. I don't watch any of his videos, that's for sure. I said on AFTV, funny enough, that I feel like we're back in the Marouane Chamakh and Nicholas Bentner days with Eddie and Nketiah up front. I actually think they were actually better. James disagreed and said, I think that's a bit harsh. But actually, when you look at what Nicholas Bentner did in terms of his goal scoring, he didn't do a bad job, to be fair. And Marouane Chamakh in his first season did okay. I know it's harsh on Eddie and people can slate me if they want. I'm not actually slagging him off here. I'm just saying that we need more than Eddie. And this window is going to be open for us to do that. Now, what could happen, Lee, is he can go and bang in 2 against West Ham and 2 against Brighton. Happy days. I'm a happy boy because Arsenal winning football games. But it doesn't mean that we don't need to go and sign someone else in January. I don't care whether it's Cody Gakpo, whether it's Zaha, whether it's Mitrovic, whether it's Tony. We need somebody up top, mate.
What happens if Eddie gets injured? Where do we go then?
Thank you. I said this as well, but I don't get. No, they don't want to answer
That's
that, mate.
Toxic and negative, though, Dan. Yeah, you're not allowed to say that, mate, because we're top of the table. We're 5 points clear. You just got to shh. Just get that carpet, lift the carpet up, mate. We'll just brush it all under there until it all goes tits. And then we blame everyone else anyway, refs and VAR. Dan, we see this guy, Eddie Nketiah, score 5 goals at the back end of last season. Give him a new contract, so they were all crying. Give him a new deal. Did they not forget that we went from 4th to 5th with his 5 goals? Like
that's so true, man. That's so true, mate. That is so true.
4th to 5th. Eddie, El Nenny's another one. Listen, I don't dislike El Nenny. Yeah, I don't dislike him. He is
Me
what he
neither.
is. He's just a limited basic footballer. But do you know what I do like about him? The fact that he knows that.
He's honest.
He actually knows his limitations and plays to his ability.
He's never tried to be a Fabregas. He's never tried to be a Fabregas. He's always been a good one. And you know,
this is where I get pissed off with it, Dan, because people sit there and they try and force these things on you. And it's like, you do realise Arsenal used to win titles, used to compete for titles. And yeah, we may compete for a title this season. But I'll tell you something, I predicted we'd finish 5th at the start of the season. I'll tell you what, this can unravel very, very quickly, mate.
You sticking with that?
Yeah, I am, for now. I want to see what we do in January.
Yeah. No, fair
Dan,
enough.
we've got a lot of fixtures coming up against some of the big teams, yeah? Like
Well, let's bring this one in because it's a nice segue to that to finish, right? Chaitanya, big up yourself, man. I hope you're well, bro.
Always a real one.
It says, yeah, always a real one. It says, big up Dan and Lee. It says, I don't think Saliba will be ready for West Ham. I really hope he is, and he should be. He ain't kicked a ball, but we'll see. Can you do the lineups for West Ham and the prediction for the next 5 games? So I wanted to talk to you quickly about that because I feel like Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba are massively needed, mate. I saw against Juve how much we missed Saka and Martinelli. It took until Kozia Dubry come on to see anything like Saka or Martinelli on the wing. Mad. Anyway, I wanted to get your thoughts on that. How confident you are for West Ham, Brighton, and then we move on to Man United, Newcastle, and Spurs, mate. It's going to be bloody hard. What's your thoughts,
man? If we play like we did against Juve, we ain't winning the game against West Ham, and it doesn't matter how crap West Ham are. We've all had 6 weeks off. Yeah, and let's be real. How many West Ham players were at the World Cup apart from Declan Rice? I don't think there was another one, was there? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't think there was another West Ham player at the World Cup. So they've had 6 weeks to do what they want, chilling, relaxing.
I think
prepping.
That was the only one.
Oh yeah, Paqueta was. Yeah, Paqueta was. Sorry, I'm like, yeah, he was. He was in Brazil.
That was the only one though, I think. And that centre half from Morocco looks good. Guerd, he was the only other one. All the others ain't gone. So you're right.
So they've had 6 weeks of Moisey drilling it into them. You're doing this. You're doing this. Yes, let's say they had 3 of them weeks off. Well, they still have 3 weeks back in training. We ain't had that with our first 11 players. Like Ramsdale, yeah, is back, obviously. Ben White's back, but we've still got Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba. They're 3 of our best players, if not our 3 best players, other than Jesus. So we've got to hope. I don't think Saliba will make it. I don't think. Listen, he's probably still in Qatar. They're probably still there. They're probably going to have a couple of days unwind in Qatar. Then he'll fly back. Then he'll probably get a week and a half, 2 weeks off. We'll probably see him for Brighton, maybe, if we're lucky. Yeah, if not, we see him against Newcastle. But you never know. He might just say, "No, I'm coming back to training." Like,
well, some of them have. Yeah, Tommy Asu's gone. Tommy Asu's gone to Japan. What's all that about?
But bro, this is what I'm saying.
I don't get that.
And I've been told, by the way, when I said that he's bang average, that Tommy Asu, oh, you're a disgrace. You're anti-Arsenal. He's average. Get over it. Yeah, the guy's not even got the elite mentality to say, do you know what? I'm coming straight back.
Yeah, that's disappointing because I like Tommy Asu, but listen, come back and actually get involved like Ramsdale has and like Xhaka has and Partey has.
I like that. And that makes me, when I sit there and look at a player and I just think, do you know what? Yeah, if Saliba says he ain't coming straight back, I'm going to have the ump. The guy plays 40 minutes.
Yeah,
and I rate him, Dan. You know this. I put him up here, yeah? If he says I'm going to have a holiday, no, you ain't, mate. Get on the next plane. You're coming back and you're training tomorrow. You play 40 minutes. Yeah, that's it. And, mate, I just... Some of these players just ain't good enough, Dan. Tommy Asu, I'm not even going to bother listening. We all know they are. Right? But as for the game against West Ham, if we don't play very well, we're getting beaten. It's as simple as that. Premier League is unforgiving. Yeah, and I think that, you know, you got to set up a team that's on the front foot. And when you get a goal, don't sit back. I don't want to see us sitting back. Boxing Day always throws up a load of weird fixtures. Weird results. You always see teams lose on Boxing Day that you don't expect. Yeah, and after a World Cup, Dan, I think this Boxing Day is going to be mad. I can't lie. I think there's going to be so many dodgy results. It's mental. Let's hope we're not one of them.
Right.
In terms of the next 5, Brighton away is not easy. Brighton away is not easy, but they're not going to have McAllister in the team, which is a plus because he's good. But they will have most of their players. So again, that's not an easy game. Newcastle, Dan, not an easy game.
They're playing so well, man. So well.
Tottenham. We never beat them at their ground, and then Man United, mate. That's a hard run. That is a hard run, isn't it?
Horrible 5 games to have when you come back.
This is what I'm saying, right? When people sit there and say you're negative, just enjoy it. We're top of the table. I'll enjoy it in May when we win it. Yeah, if we don't win it, this is all irrelevant. Like I say it every year, Dan. Irrelevant runs and results that lead to nothing are irrelevant. Yeah, people go, oh, where you be? Well, but the aim is top 4. No, the aim is to win the title, mate. Your aim might be top 4, but I ain't a loser. My aim's to win the title. Yeah, that's the aim of elite sport, is to win the trophy, not come 4th, right? So if let's say we beat West Ham and Brighton, we're still top in January. But then let's say we don't beat Newcastle, we don't beat Tottenham, we don't beat United, all of a sudden we're 4th. Yeah, that's how quick it can change. So when people are sitting there saying, you need to back Eddie, get in the bin. Yeah, get in the bin. Yeah, go and buy a proper striker because he ain't it. And even part exchange him for the proper striker. Yeah, just get him out the
And
club.
you
Don't
know,
want to see
you
him
talk
play.
about Man United, and Tottenham and Newcastle. If we lose to West Ham and Brighton, and Man City win both their games, we're no longer top, and it's done. So, like, you look at it and think, wow, they're already ahead of us. Now, I'm not saying that's going to
Yeah.
happen, Lee. We could go and win 5 games again, and it could all be hunky dory. My
Mm.
point is that we need to actually ensure in January that we have a chance of keeping up with Man City because their squad is so much better than ours. And at the moment, we've seen against Juventus that our backup strikers are just not quite good enough. Now, I look at Newcastle, Tottenham, and Manchester United. And I do worry because I do every year because they're fantastic teams. Manchester United have already beaten us. Newcastle haven't lost to Man City, and actually are playing as well as Man City and Arsenal this season in certain games anyway, in my opinion. And I can't remember the last time I went to White Hart Lane and won. I think it was Thomas Rosicky back in 2014. So that's why I'm
First
not
minute of the
actually
game.
looking at it. Yeah, it was. I don't actually look at that going, well, I'm happy. These 5 games, I mean, I can't wait till February. We're going to walk them. Now, we could be a lot more positive if we look at January and say, do you know what? We're going to get a centre forward. We're going to get a winger, whether it's Mudryk, Zaha, whoever, and we're going to fill our midfield with a couple of players that are actually going to cover for Partey and Xhaka when they're out. I would actually sit back and go, do you know what? Wow, they're serious about this title. And this is why I'm looking at the Cronkies and the Arteta regime and the Edus, and I'm saying, what is it you want to do? Because last season you said we were ahead of the game coming 5th. This season, what is it? What are we ahead of? Are we ahead of anything? Are we going for a title? Are we not? Because we have found, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's sustainable, 14 games in might be early, but right now we're in a title race. Whether that's going to be sustainable in May is a completely different question. If you look at the table, we're sat 5 points clear. January is round the corner. We've only got 2 games, Lee, until January. Now, if Edu and Arteta do what they did last January, I'm going to sit there and ask questions. And then, unfortunately, you'll get the same fans going, well, we're winning. What's the matter? We're still top. 4th is the aim. We don't need any players. We're happy with 4th. We're definitely getting 4th. What happens if we actually don't do anything in January and then we do slip out? They're going to get blamed again. So this is why I am actually putting my foot on their necks and saying, come on then, title race, it's there. Go and do it. And
Mm.
that's what I'm going to be
Yeah.
asking the Cronkies. And the ambition needs to be there for me.
And that's what every fan should be doing. Not just sitting there going, well, we're punching above our weight. We're Arsenal Football Club, the 3rd most successful club in the country. We should be demanding title charge. We're top now. We've played the best football. Yeah, we've had some fantastic performers for us this season. Ben White, Granit Xhaka, 2 players I don't particularly rate that highly. Yeah, they've been superb this season for Arsenal. Yeah, Jesus, superb. Most of the players, to be fair, have been brilliant.
Yeah, agreed.
But this is where now we're top of the table, 5 points clear. This is where every single fan should be using their social media accounts, which they do check, by the way. They do search social media. And if people don't believe that, how did Frimpong get a job at Arsenal? Because they see him on the internet. Yeah, fact. It's a fact, bro. They see him on the internet. He was just doing uploads on Twitter. Yeah, now he's working for Arsenal. Fair play to the lad. Yeah, but they do check that. Yeah, we know that. So why don't you use your social media account instead of lowering the standards by saying, oh, well, 4th was the aim at the start of the season. So, we're doing all right. We're punching above our... No, use it to say, let's go and strengthen. Let's go and buy 3 or 4 players because it'll save us money in the summer. Yeah, we could potentially loan players and then buy them in the summer. So then that puts it into the next year of financial fair play rather than putting it on this year. You just pay the loan fee. So you could do it that way. But Dan, I don't expect anything from this club, mate. I don't expect anything. And if we bottle it this season, they've all got to go. Like, if we don't finish in that top 4, which I don't... Listen, the only way I want to finish top 4 is if we win it. Yeah, because I don't care about 2nd, 3rd or 4th, Dan. It's all a load of bollocks. Right? It's something that the clubs have played into, the powers that be at federations have played into, and then obviously Arsene Wenger telling everyone 4th's better than the trophy. Yeah, so now you got people that think it is better than the trophy. No, the aim is to win the trophy. Yeah, not finish 4th. If we win the league, yeah, I will be over the moon. I'll take back my words on Arteta, the same as I did with Ramsdale, by the way, because he's proved me wrong. And I'll be happy. But if we end up finishing 5th, they've all got to be potted. Every single one of them. All of them. Yeah, get rid of half the players as well, because if they bottle it, then they can jog on as well. Yeah, if it's them that's bottling it, the manager bottles it, and the club bottle it, and as a combined without transfers, players getting injured, the manager's tactics in games, Man United, like for example, if it's a collective job, then bin them all and start again. Yeah, people go, but you can't do that in one window. Yeah, you can. Nottingham Forest signed 22 players in the summer.
Yeah, listen, I agree.
17 in the summer.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and I do believe that if we finish outside the Champions League, surely there can't be many people that can sit there and say fair play. But I think we will get it this year. Where we're going to finish, I can't say, but I will say in January if we've done enough or not, and I'll be putting my foot on the Cronkies next to get it done because for me, we're in a title race right now, and I need to see players coming in. Lee, we're going to leave it there. Absolute legend for coming on, brother. I know you're late to go on another stream now, but make sure you go over to Lee Gunner's channel, people. It's in the title. Click his name, and you'll get over there and join his 74,000 subs or whatever it is now. So please make sure you do that, people.
Big up. Check out my other channel as well. I'm going to shamelessly plug it.
Yeah, go on, mate.
I
Do
will
it.
be uploading on the other channel. It's called Lee Reacts. If you type in more Lee Gunner, you'll probably find the channel easier. More Lee Gunner. Yeah, and we're nearly on 7K on that channel. So big up to everyone who's already subbed. There is some vlogs on there from about 440 odd days ago that you can sink your teeth into until I start reacting to stuff. But it's a channel that's not football related. It's literally anything. I can react to anything I want. If anyone wants to edit for that channel, Lee Gunner mk82@gmail.com. Send me your portfolio.
Wicked. You heard it here, people. Mate, always a pleasure having you on, man. We're going to love you and leave you. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Get me up to 7K if you can, people. And we'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to be doing some bits all week, actually. So back to football. It's nice. The World Cup's done and Arsenal are back. Premier League football's back, which means all the guys will be joining for the rest of the week. And Lee will be on with me most Mondays, if not every other Monday. And we will see you next time, guys. Take care and up the Arsenal. Latest, people.